I've discovered the careful planning that goes into the middle aisle of the discount stores.
And if it works and it's affordable, then it's like a double whammy, isn't it?
Where do these strange brands come from? And are these lookalikes really as good as the more expensive products on the high street?
One of the things that people can get a little bit sniffy about when they're shopping in the middle aisle is not instantly spotting recognisable brands. For instance, you've got your Ferrex lawnmower, your Garden Line fire pit. This is to name but a few. So I do get it. I get why people are sceptical about shopping the unknown brands.
So, what's the deal with these unknown brands?
So the discounters keep their prices really low by mainly relying on their own private label products.
British supermarkets are the pioneers of own brand. Sainsbury's Taste the Difference, or Tesco Finest, or Asda Smart Price. Those are well-trusted brands. So Aldi and Lidl are not doing anything different, except they're not naming them Aldi and Lidl. It's not Aldi Finest or, Lidl Value. They are these imaginary, what's known in the industry as tertiary brands. They're inventions. Kirkton House, an Aldi kitchen line. Ferrex power tools. At Lidl, there's Loopy-Loo Baby. Grill Meister for their barbecue.
And these are brands that have been created by the organisation so that you feel that you're buying into something respectable and known, but actually they're just all owned by Aldi and Lidl. And again, that's just a marketing sweet spot to give us as consumers a bit more reassurance about what we're buying.
They know that if they called it a Lidl drill or an Aldi lawnmower, we might assume they're inferior in some way. So instead, they've created these respectable sounding brands to make us feel like we can trust them. They even use packaging that might remind you of the big name products, which has occasionally caused them trouble in court. Even luxury brands are getting the discounter treatment. I'm in London to meet beauty product reviewer Lizzie Hearn. Lizzie makes videos comparing beauty products she's bought at the discounters with luxury brands that can cost up to 10 times the price.
But you've picked up some things recently. Show me what you've got.
Okay, so talking about kind of candles and incense, we've got this, the hotel collection, which for stocking up for like downstairs loos or like spare bedrooms and stuff, they're really handy. So we've got the lime, basil and mandarin candle.
Let's have a smell. Let's have a whiff.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, it's
like
so
fresh.
good. It's so good.
And it is like you're going into a hotel, like a really
Yeah.
expensive hotel, but you know you're going into your
It's
living room.
lovely. What's that one there?
And then this is some of the new makeup stuff. So Flawless Coverage CC Cream.
So this is like a base or a moisturiser?
So it's like a moisturiser and a foundation rolled into one.
Yeah.
So you've
Can
got,
you
like-
test these when you go into store? You just...
No, not really. That's the only thing that you haven't got. So it's kind of like finding pick and mix. Like it's just like finding whether you got the look or not. But then these are really good. And it's got SPF 50 in it.
Oh, that's good. Protect your skin from the sun. Let's have a go. I mean, I'm quite tan at the moment.
Yeah, this might be good for you.
Yeah. That's a bit light for me, but...
Oh my God, you are tanned.
I am, look. I look like David Dickinson.
Well, this can be like your base,
that's
maybe.
really nice, though.
Yeah, and it like rubs out.
Oh, it
smell
smells
okay.
nice. Have you smelt it? It's really nice.
It's like when you go to a spa, isn't it? So, yeah, they're really good. This is the Lacura Original Hot Cloth Cleanser with a
what's
muslin
that?
cloth. So this is like, it's similar to like a really expensive brand that I've used for years, and it's so good. So you put it on your skin, take off makeup, you get a cloth with it, like a muslin cloth, and it's just really good.
But by buying the sort of cheaper brands and not going for the more designer ones, do you feel like you're kind of missing out on something, or does it bother you?
No, not really. I mean, there's certain things that I really enjoy and that I will spend more money on that are kind of like cult favourites of mine. But other than that, like I'll go for what works. And if it works and it's affordable, then it's like a double whammy, isn't it? And it's like nice packaging. It sits on your little counter and looks really pretty.
Proud to show it off.
Exactly.
Well, Lizzie's convinced that the discounters' own brand beauty products are often just as good as the big name equivalents. But some of us are always going to be suspicious. If the prices are this low, they must be cutting corners somewhere. I've managed to get the former Lidl UK CEO beamed into my home for a video call. Will he spill the beans on how they undercut the big name brands?
Right, Ronnie, how does it go from, say, for instance, like if you had a drill that you wanted to put into store, what's the process?
You take a mass market product at a good specification. Lidl in the background would have multiple producers for DIY products lined up somewhere in Asia. And those guys would look at the specification, would take the product apart and say, okay, we can rebuild this product at that and that price if you were to give us the quantity of 11,000 stores, let's argue 10 drills per store. And then obviously you quite quickly come to a very, very big amount of those drills.
By picking products that are doing well in the market, discounters can supersize their orders. For a short time, they might be the world's biggest buyer of drills. The size of the order means they get the stock at a lower per unit price from the manufacturer. So, everyone's a winner.
I think suppliers like dealing with the discounters because they get massive bulk orders. As a result, they don't necessarily have to worry about the spikes and troughs in demand. They just get to make the product, ship the product, and they're done.
And because the stock is only on the shelf for a limited time, it means they don't need to worry about storing unsold items. So they're buying as cheap as possible, selling for a limited time, and reducing cost on storage and waste. By basing their product on something that already exists in the market, they're also avoiding many of the costs involved in research, design, and marketing.
They're not necessarily having to trade down on quality, they're just making sure that they're not spending any extra money to make it a well-known brand so that they can pass those savings on to you in a lower price.
The discounters take a product that consumers already love and ask a manufacturer to match its specifications. Ronnie is adamant it's not in the discounters' interests to compromise on quality.
The reason why the discounters are so successful is because you buy the product at a lower price at a similar or better quality.
So, Ronnie, what you're saying is that the product that the discounters sell, for instance, like the drill, the quality is just as good than the big brand names?
The answer is a fundamental yes.
Big words there from Ronnie. But is he right? How will a current discounter product measure up? We're putting Lidl's own brand Parkside 12-volt cordless drill, priced at less than £60, with all the accessories, head-to-head against one of the market leaders, which retails at £74.99. We're at the Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering Department of Strathclyde University in Glasgow, where Dr. Fiona Sillars is team leader in the Advanced Materials Research Laboratory.
Today we're going to be testing 2 drills using the computer numerical controlled milling machine to compare the motor effectiveness in each drill and also to compare the wear rate and the drill bits.
Sounds to me like they know what they're doing. So what are they looking for?
We'll look at both the drilling that has been completed on the sample piece, and then we'll look at the drill bits in our materials characterization laboratory to look at the wear, and then we'll also look at the microstructure of the drill bits. And also, if we compare the actual holes that have been drilled, we should be able to see the sharpness of the drill hole itself.
Let's see how Lidl's Parkside drill performs. The test machine has been programmed to drill a set number of holes at exactly the same force, so the power of the motors and the durability of the drill bits can be compared. Next up, it's the big brand drill. So, that's both of them put through their paces.
So that's the test complete now, so we'll just take the samples out and take them to the materials characterization lab to see what the results tell us.
This is Scotland's top-rated mechanical engineering department, and a full laboratory experiment would involve running this test many times over. But the preliminary results are intriguing.
So we compared the discount drill with the brand leader, and we found that for most characteristics that they were comparable. When we compared the test coupons that we drilled downstairs, we found that the brand leader had gone further through the test coupon, but when we looked at the specification, the brand leader had a more powerful motor than the discount store. So that's its expected results.
The brand leader drilled straight through the metal, while the discounter model didn't, showing the brand leader had the more powerful motor.
So in terms of the wear that we saw in both drill bits, it was very similar. Compositionally, they are very similar, and in terms of hardness measurements that we completed, they're also very similar.
So the drill bits were similar, but the branded drill was more powerful. I guess it depends what you want to use it for, but they are not like for like.